Hello guys, welcome back, and today we're going to be talking about Heroes of Remnant, or Hero of Remnant I meant. But either way, let's continue on with this episode, shall we? Alright, let's start. Just ignore the background, I'm also currently watching Isekai Quartet, which, actually, should I make a what if about it? Maybe, perhaps. Wait for a second. So, we currently see our boy Izuku as he's currently walking back, going back to the dorm room. As while he was arriving back, he would bump into someone, as he would say, "Ow! Sorry about that. Uh?" As he would look up, as he would see someone. As he would be met with three people. One of them was a boy with somewhat silver hair, as he would say this. "Hey, dude, um, maybe you should try and, As he would say, "Oh, sorry," he would say. As after saying that, one of them would notice his face, being that of a dark-skinned girl with greenish hair similar to his, as she would say, "Wait, Mercury, that's..." As he would say, "Huh?" As he would look at him closer, as he would say, "Oh shit," he would say, as he would be surprised, as Izuku would also be surprised as well, as he would say, excuse me, what was that?" he would say, as one of them, specifically the girl in the middle, seems to have, darkish, colored hair, almost similar to that of, RWBY, I guess. As she would also have amber eyes, as she would say, "Oh, don't mind them. I'm really sorry for bumping into you, Mr. Ironwood," she would say, as he would say, "Oh, sorry, but I think it's preferable if you don't call me Mr. Ironwood. That's my father's name." Or adopted. Anyway, I'm really sorry into bumping into you too, he would say. As she would say, "Don't worry. But either way, it's nice to meet you, Mr. Izuku, right?" she would say. As you'd say, yeah, nice to meet you too. I should say, Cinder. Cinder Fall, she would say. As one of them, specifically the guy named Mercury, aka the one with the silver hair, would say to the other girl beside him, "Hey, are we really trying to interact with this guy? I heard he's pretty powerful, especially in Atlas." As Emerald would say this, "Don't worry about it. Besides, our boss is pretty powerful," she would say. As after hearing that, Izuku would think to himself, "Well, that definitely doesn't sound ominous." As he would shake his head, as he would look towards Cinder once again, as he would say, "Yeah, anyway, I should be leaving now. Bye," he would say. As she would say this, "Very well then. Hope to see you again," she would say. So, after doing so, we would go back to Izuku once again. As when Izuku came inside, not in that way, you damn pervert. But more like, after he finally arrives back at the dorm, he would see all of his teammates, specifically, Team RWBY, and half of, well, whatever Team, Sun is, or at least the name of Team Sun, or whatever. As we would currently see Sun himself, and that of, what's her name? And Neptune, as he would say, "Oh, hey guys," he would say. As RWBY would say, "Oh, hey Zuku," she would say, as she would walk up to him. As after saying that, she would say, "Oh, Izuku, we wanted to ask this. Can you help us with something?" As Izuku would say, "Yeah, sure, what is it?" As she would say, "Well, we're planning to try and find out what the White Fang is doing. And about Roman." After hearing that, Izuku would go all serious, as you'd say, "Really? Then what is it about?" As one of them would say this. Being that of Sun, as Sun would say this. Yes, essentially, we're trying to find a way to, basically take down Roman," he would say. As one of them, specifically his friend, Neptune would say, Yeah, if you don't mind, I wanted to help as well." As Izuku would say this. "I see. Then, guess I'll help too. I am kind of concerned about Roman working with the White Fang, though." Still, though, why are they working with a human? Especially since that they hate them. As after hearing that, one of them would say, specifically, Blake, who suggested this, she would say, yeah, essentially, I want to try and find a way to, at least, get some closure on why they're working with each other. Especially since that I used to be a White Fang, she would say. As Izuku would say this, hey, Blake, don't think about that or anything of that sort. Even though you may be a White Fang back in the day, you're no longer one, today as well. As after hearing that, she would say, thanks, Izuku, she would say. As she would have a somewhat cute blush. We would also currently see a jealous Wise as she's currently saying to herself, God dang it, she would say. After saying that in her head, we would go back to Izuku once again, as you would say. Anyway, so if we're going to try and find some information about the White Fang and Roman, what are we going to do exactly? As one of them would say this, specifically Weiss. As Weiss would say this, well, we have a plan. Well, more specifically, we're going to be teaming up with, or at least we're going to be set up in 2 teams. Well, more like teams of 2, more specifically. Well, we thought of that until we realized that it's an odd number now. As Izuku would say this, then guess I'll probably work with somebody like Blake. I mean, it makes sense. And, wait, Blake, do you think that they're going to be doing some sort of pep rally for the White Fang or something? As Blake would say this. Yes, I did hear that. As after hearing that, he would say, that sounds great. Then, guess I'll try and do this then. As after doing so, he would say, now, repose, he would say. After doing so, he would gain wings similar to, well, Gloxinia. As Gloxinia would say, not Gloxinia, I meant Neptune. Oh, god dang it. Neptune would say, what? Why do you have wings? She would say. As she would have a flustered voice, as after hearing that, Izuku would say, oh, that. It's just one of my semblance's abilities. It's called Repose. It allows me to, well, gain these wings. I sort of become a fairy, or at least a pseudo-faunus, I guess you could say. As she would say, that's so cool, she would say. As she would have, those like glimmering, like, kid-like eyes. As after seeing that, Izuku would say, yeah, cool, I guess. Anyway, so I guess I'm gonna be working with her, Blake. As Blake would see this. Yeah, it seems so. It does make sense. Now, for the others. As after the teams are formed, Izuku would be teamed up with Blake and our boy Sun. So, after... No. Sorry about that. And we continue on. As he would say this. So, we should probably get moving, right? As he would say this. Yes, let's go. As after doing so, he would turn off Repose so nobody would, freak out about, him having wings, as they would start leaving. So, after leaving with the others, specifically the rest of the, finding out information squad, as him and, Sun would finally arrive at the pep rally, or at least the pep rally for the Lord recruitment, specifically for, new White Fang members. After they arrived, he would say, this is quite interesting, he would say. As Sun would say this, yeah, never been to this type of place before. As Blake would say this, alright, let's go, she would say. As after arriving inside, they would be given masks. As Izuku would say this, so, as she would say, put it on, she would say. As he would say, oh, right, as he would put on the mask, as one of them would say this, huh? Or at least, a random, a White Fang recruit, as they would say, huh? Never expected to see a insect-like faunus before. As one of them would say, whoa, his wings look so cute, said one of them. As one of the guys would say, huh, never seen a butterfly faunus that's a boy before. As one of them would say, yeah, though I am interested in his wings. Well, I always wanted wings, instead of these stupid fucking rabbit ears. As after hearing that, Izuku would just, sweat drop, inside. As Blake would say this. Oh, they certainly are jealous, she would say. As Izuku would say this. Anyway, let's just hurry up. As after getting inside of the tent or the warehouse that they're currently, in, as they would, be seated, or not really seated, but more like, going towards the front, where a large sort of stage is. So, after they gathered up, one of them would say this, specifically a White Fang member. All of you, be quiet. It's finally time for you to meet our provider, he would say. As after saying that, a person would come out of the shadows. A person with only one arm. That being, Torchwick. And if you're asking, wait, he lost an arm? Well, if some of you guys that actually skipped this, skipped the whole series and went to like the latest episode, well, Robert got his arm ripped off thanks to help of, Basquiat's, Gloxinia's spear. As we continue on, as he would say this. Nice to meet you all, he would say. As all of them would be surprised that a human is here, as you would start yelling for his death. As you would say this. Come on, come on. And besides, I hate humans, he would say. As after hearing that, everybody would be surprised, especially the Faunuses. As Izuku would, be surprised himself, as he would say, wait, he hates? Wait, he's probably lying, he would say to himself. As he would say this, oh, I loathe them. They're greedy scumbags, he would say. But if you join us, we'll gladly take them down for you, he would say. See this? As he would basically show off his missing arm. One of these humans did this to me. And you wonder why I hate all of them, he would say. As everybody would be surprised as well, as they would become angered, thinking that, this guy that's even a human, even despises his own kind. As he would say this. But, we need firepower, and with you, we'll certainly have that. But, I do have something else, he would say. As he would snap his fingers, as it would be revealed to be a Atlesian machine. More specifically, the brand newly revealed Atlesian Paladin. As Izuku would say, wait, how the hell did he get that? As after saying that, one of them would say, wait, that thing? Said, a surprised, son, as he would say, yeah, that's an Atlesian knight. I meant Atlesian, Atlesian Paladin. They're meant to be a brand new machine to take down grim and criminals, but how did he get one, he would say. As Son would say this, how do I know, he would say. As after saying that, one of the, people there, specifically a White Fang member, would say, wait a minute. As he would say, I know him, he would say, as he would basically row up towards, our boy, Roman, as he would say, boss, as he would say, oh, what is it, he would say, as he would, whisper and point towards the crowd, as he would say, oh, I've been waiting, he would say, as after saying that, Izuku would say, guys, as Roman would say this, oh, I've been waiting to get my revenge, especially since I lost my fucking arm for that, he would say, as he would grab onto the, onto the large Atlesian Paladin, he would say, get him, he would say, as several of the White Fang members that got attacked by him, the ones that sort of escaped, would get ready their, their weapons, as he would say, you're gonna pay for ripping off our arms, our legs, and, Dave, as he would say, yeah, let's do not talk about that. As after saying that, Izuku would say this, guys, let's get ready, he would say, as Son and Blake would get ready their, weapons, as he would start running away. As after doing so, the Atlesian Paladin, being piloted by Roman, would say, I'm gonna certainly love going to rip your arms, he would say. As after that, the screen would fade to black. So, yeah. So, this is where we're gonna be ending off this episode. So yeah, bye bye.